Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Lauren and on this channel we talk about books, and today I have a super exciting video. It's another haul, I know, but I love to go book shopping and I love to share with you guys the books that I've picked up, the books that I find at independent bookstores. If book hauls are something that you like, please stick around because that's what we're doing today. So I was recently in Colorado and there is this adorable independent bookstore over in downtown Colorado Springs. It is called Poor Richards. I will have it linked down below. If you are in the Colorado Springs area, I definitely recommend checking out Poor Richards if you haven't been there already. I have family that live right outside of Colorado Springs, and so I make it a mission every time I go visit out there that I make the drive to Colorado Springs and I go to this bookstore. It is probably because I don't live close by to it. It's like one of my favorites because I only get to go like once a year. So it kind of holds like a special place because you don't get to go to it very often, but it is just the coolest store. So the first book that I picked up from Poor Richards is The Will of the Many. This is not exactly a new book, but it has been a book that's been on my like my wish list for some time now. I do have this book on my Audible and I have started listening to a little bit of it, but I think just because of the intricacy of the world building, and this type of story isn't something that I normally would read, I really want to read the book in tandem with listening to it. I feel like it will get me immersed in the story a little bit better, and she is kind of chunky, and I don't know, there's just something about this book that really intrigues me. The story really intrigues me, and so I want desperately to read the book. I just think I'm going to need a little bit more, I don't know, I feel like when I hold on to a book and I have the words in front of me, I'm more like interested in a book. It's really hard for me just to listen to a book, especially if it's not like a genre that like I'm typically, I don't know, drawn to. I just don't want to tune it out. And so I think that if I have the book with me to read, it will obviously be a lot harder to tune out. So when I saw this book there, I was like, oh my gosh, it's meant to be, because my local Barnes and Nobles has been sold out of this book in stores for like ever. It's never in stock. So I'm like, I don't want to order it online because books just always get damaged when they ship, at least in my experience. So I was really hell-bent on not ordering it online. So when I saw this book at Poor Richards, I was like, she's coming home with me. Another book I picked up over there is called Rose in Chains. This is a new release that I had not been privy to. This was on like on one of their tables whenever you first walk in. It was on their fantasy romance side. I think this is like a spin-off of, or like inspired by another story that I don't know, don't quote me on that, but I feel like I've seen some people post like some shorts or even like just like some Instagram post about how this is like, I don't know if it's fan fiction. I don't think it's fan fiction because I mean she's a USA best-selling author, so I don't think it's fan fiction, but I think that it's like inspired by another story. I don't know, I could just be completely wrong on that, but I thought the book was beautiful. It has these really nice sprayed edges. I thought the cover was really pretty. I don't know much about this book. I obviously read the synopsis before purchasing, but what really drew me in was the cover and the fact that it was a new release that I like hadn't heard of. I was like, oh, okay, look at that. I thought this book was really pretty, so I had to pick it up. Another book that I picked up that I'm really excited about is called Kill Creatures. This book was on one of my anticipated releases. I'm not sure if it was for May or June, maybe July, I don't even know anymore. But this is a YA thriller. Basically, we've got a group of girls. They all go swimming late at night for one last summer swim before school starts, but unfortunately only one girl returns. A year later, they're having like an anniversary memorial for the girl's death, and something shocking happens. One of the girls comes crawling out of the woods, and everyone is super shocked, especially the one girl who didn't disappear, because she apparently kills the other girls, and so she's very shocked to see that one of the girls is actually alive. And I think that this story is going to be following, I don't know, the rehabilitation, if you will, of the girl who's actually a survivor, and the story coming out of how the one girl who did survive is a murderer. So I thought that sounded really freaking awesome. It is YA, so I don't expect it to be too like scary, if you will, and it's a relatively short book. It's under 300 pages, and the cover is gorgeous. Like, are you kidding? Another book I picked up while at Poor Richard's is called Grave Birds. I have never heard of this book. I don't even know when it was published, if it's new, if it's old, but I thought the title was really pretty. Oh, copyright 2025, so a relatively new book. I thought the cover and the title was really, really interesting. I love a spooky story. Also a relatively short book. I think this one's also under 300 pages. And it says, grave birds haunt the cemeteries in Hawthorne, South Carolina, where Spanish moss drips from the trees and Southern charm is imbued with lies. Hollis Sutherland never knew these unique birds existed, not until she died and was brought back to life. The ghostly birds are manifestation of the dead's unfinished business, and they know Hollis, and her uncanny gift can set them free. When a mysterious, charming bachelor wanders into the small town, bizarre events begin to plague its wealthiest citizens. Blood drips from the dogwood blossoms, flocks of birds crash into the houses, fire tornadoes descend from the skies. Hollis knows these are the omens her grandfather warned her about, announcing the devil's return. Ooh. But despite Cain Landry's eerie presence and the plague that followed him, his handsome face and wicked charms win over the townfolk. Even Hollis falls under his spells as they grow closer. That is, until lies about the town's past start to surface. The grave birds begin to show Hollis the dead's ugly deeds from some 25 years ago and the horrible things some people did to gain their wealth. Hollis can't decide if Cain is some immortal hand of God there to expose their sins, or if he's the devil there to ruin them all. Either way, she's determined to save her town and the people in it, whatever it takes. Tell me that doesn't sound amazing. We've got a Southern Gothic setting. We've got a girl brought back from the dead who can now communicate with grave birds, and we've got a spooky new man in town who's also handsome and could potentially be the devil himself. Yeah, that sounds like a book I need to read literally right now today. The last book I picked up from Poor Richard's is The Poppy Fields. This book was definitely on one of my anticipated releases the last couple months, and basically we follow these people. They all have some type of pain or grief going on, and they travel to this wellness center, if you will, to basically fall asleep. And while they're in their sleep, this pain, guilt, whatever it is that they're feeling, grief, will be basically eradicated from their memory. And so we're following this group of people. They are all strangers to one another, and it's basically their story of how to overcome grief. Is pain worth forgetting? If you can choose to erase these, uncomfortable and painful feelings, would you do it? Should you do it? How does grief shape us as people? So while this is not a book I would typically read, I just thought the story sounded really profound. As humans, we all go through uncomfortable situations. We all feel pain. We all feel grief. We all feel guilt. So I just thought that the premise of the story sounded like something. It almost kind of sounds like something that you should read, and also not a very large book. So I I don't know, something about it called to me and I just felt like I needed to have it. So not in Colorado. Once I got home back in Texas, I did visit a local independent bookstore near me called Books by the Bay. I will have their either Instagram or website linked down below as well. Really, really cute bookstore. While I was there, I did pick up The King of Frost and Shadows, which is book 1 to Faded to Darkness trilogy. I've never heard of this book before. I thought it was beautiful. When I read the back of the book, I was like, oh, this is right up my alley. I won't read the entire thing, but basically the first 3 lines says a vengeful king, a lost princess, and the revenge he's desperate for. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something I want to read. Oh, and something that was super cool. I don't know if you can see, but it is signed underneath the title page. So I was like, ooh, hey. And it looks like our king is a fae king and the princess is human. So we love that. Oh, I almost forgot because I'm drinking out of it. At Poor Richard's, I did get this really cute mug. Excuse my lipstick smudge, but it says Bibliophile Society of reading addicts and book collectors. Yeah, and then the back of it has this really cute book stack. So I did get this at Poor Richard's as well. Okay, the next book I got at Books by the Bay is A Library at Hellborn. I think this is going to be a series 2. It says This School Will Eat You Alive. I thought this cover was absolutely gorgeous. It kind of has like a little like blue shift to it. I believe that this is a new release as well for July, and it's basically a magical school. It says, it does have a like a claim by Olivia Blake. It says, this is punk rock, eldritch god, carnage fueled battle royale, dark academia, more metal than I'll ever be, and too cool for most of you. That is so fun. It says the Hellborn Technical Institute for the Gifted is the premier academy for the dangerously powerful, the Antichrist and Death Workers, the World Eaters, and Apocalypse Makers. Wow. Hellborn promises redemption, acceptance, and a normal life after graduation. At least, that's what Alyssa Lee is told after she's kidnapped and forcibly enrolled. But the Institute is more than just a haven for monsters. On graduation day, the faculty embark on a ravenous rampage, feasting on their students. Okay, so it's not the school itself that will eat you, but it's the teachers. Wow. Trapped in the school's library, Alyssa and her surviving classmates must do something they were never taught to do: work together. If they don't, this school will eat them alive. Ooh, that sounds so much fun. Another book I picked up is The Wolf King by Lauren Palfreman. Hopefully, I'm sure I did not say that correctly, so I am sorry. Ever since I purchased this book about 2 weeks ago, I have all of a sudden randomly been seeing like Instagram posts about it, people posting about it on Goodreads, people posting about it on Fable. So I'm just like, did I pick up like an upcoming, I know that the person at the library, I know the lady that runs the bookstore, she was saying that book 3 is about to come out. So I don't know if like we are vamping up. Like I know that a lot of people will not purchase like a trilogy or even like a series until it's all out so they can just read through them. So I don't know if that's what's going on or if I'm just late to the party, or since I added this to my want to read on Goodreads, now I'm seeing people talk about it. I don't know how the algorithm works, but ever since I bought this book, all of a sudden I'm seeing all types of shenanigans about it. And prior to purchasing this book, I didn't even know this book existed. I just randomly saw it on the shelf. I read the little blurb and I was like, I don't really read a lot of wolf romances, and that's something that I feel like I need to add to my life. So I bought it, and this version of the book is independently published. I want to say the lady at the bookstore said that the 3rd book, and now I guess the series, has been picked up for traditional publishing. So I don't know, maybe that's why, I don't know. But this book is heavy, and it's not a very thick book, so I think it's like the backing is really thick, like it is thick. So I thought that was really nice. It was really nice quality, but basically it says, when a princess is kidnapped by an alpha, war rages between the humans and the wolves, but soon forbidden attraction starts to grow. So essentially I think that a human princess is kidnapped by our wolf alpha for kind of like political reasons, you know, but then of course an attraction builds, we start to fall in love, and that's like how the story goes. So I'm excited to read it. I read a lot of fae stories. I don't think I've ever read a werewolf love story, werewolf, you know, whatever. So, well, werewolf romance, if you will. So I think that the cover of this book is, again, gorgeous, and I'm excited to read it. I want to read this because, of course, the third book, I think she said, comes out in November, but she also had the second book in stock. But this book was like $36, and I was like, I am not spending, you know, I don't know, $100 and however many dollars on two books. Jesus. Okay, now I do have a small Barnes and Noble haul. I did pick up Terror at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair. I love Scarlett St. Clair. She did like the Persephone and Hades series. Love that series. I haven't finished it, but the books that I have read in that series are absolutely amazing. Like the steam, the spice, the just all the things are so good, so nicely done. I have read her like Apples Dipped in Gold, which is a retelling of some fairy tale. I can't pinpoint which one it is, but also really, really good book. That one's like a short story, like maybe like a novella, if you will. It's a very, very short book. This one, though, is a full-length novel. It's going to be a series, and I am so excited to read it. I had my eye on this book, but wasn't completely sold. I don't know what wasn't selling me, but I saw a review by the Scarlet-Haired or Raven-Haired Reader. Yeah, Raven-Haired Reader is her name. Well, her YouTube name. I'll link her down below. I love her channel. Her and I have very, very similar tastes when it comes to reading. She did a review on this book, and it sold me literally that day. Like, I didn't even finish her video. I went to the Barnes & Noble app, and I purchased this for pickup. So, and I did get a signed copy. Hey! So that's really exciting, and I had like $15 in Barnes & Noble rewards. So I applied that to this book, plus I am like the, I don't know, like with the card holder, so I got the 10% off discount plus the $15 off. I paid like $8 for this book, and I think it's what, a $35 book, $20.99. So anyways, $30 book I spent $8 for. You cannot beat that. I haven't started reading it yet. I just got it like maybe like a day or two ago, but I will start reading it because also one of the book clubs that I am a part of chose this for their August book. So this is on my August TBR. I'm really excited. Another book I recently picked up from Barnes & Noble is The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. Now, I have already read this book. I own the trilogy in paperback, but this is the like special edition of book number 2. I do have the special edition of the first book as well. So as they come out, I do want to add them to my bookshelf. They are just beautiful, beautiful books. Here's the cover of the first one, and then this is the cover of book number 2. I think that they're just gorgeous. So I did pick that up. These are relatively expensive too. These are almost $50 books, but I had to have it, so. Another book I picked up from Barnes & Noble, which has been on my wish list for a few months now, is The Raven Scholar. I definitely want to read this during the fall months. So while I was there, I figured I may as well pick it up. I am excited to finally own this book. Like I said, it's been on my wish list for some time now, and I definitely want to get this read over the Burr months, which are right around the corner. So I gave in and I purchased it from Barnes & Noble. The last book I picked up from Barnes & Noble is Arcana Academy. I have not heard much about this book. This was not a book that was on my radar. Typically I go through, you know, the new monthly releases and I kind of have like my eye on things. I kind of have an idea of what, you know, I want to purchase, if I'm able to make any purchases throughout the month. That I'm not just like in Barnes & Noble or in a bookstore just like aimlessly. I try to limit that because then that gets to be dangerous spending. I try to have like a plan, you know, but I saw this book at Barnes & Noble and it caught my eye. I love an academia story. Like, I just love that, whether it's YA or you know, something like more adult and more sinister. I love an academia story. I think this one might be YA, but do not know it. I think it might be about a woman who wields magical tarot cards, lends herself in a... Okay, so no, it mustn't be YA. I take that back. The cover kind of gives YA. I don't know, but the blurb does not give YA. So I do not think this is YA. I do think this is going to be an adult fantasy, maybe with a romance. We are in a false engagement with the headmaster of a mysterious academy in the first installment of this enthralling fantasy romance series from the best-selling author of A Deal with the Elf King. Yeah, so that's why I bought it. Like, I am so excited to read this, actually. I don't think I actually read the blurb whenever I bought the book. I think I just looked at the front of it and like just was like, oh, this is definitely going to be dark academia, and so I bought it. Like, I was sold like just from that. And the edges are like this really beautiful sprayed foil gold. Yeah, this was definitely like a whim purchase. I hadn't heard of the book. I didn't know anything about it. I saw it on, I think it may have been on like the Dark Academia or like new releases under like the tab that says Dark Academia, and I was like, ooh, let me see. Yeah, this is why you don't go into Barnes & Noble's or a bookstore in general without a plan, because then you buy a book that wasn't even on your TBR, wish list, whatever, for $33. But I did get $5 off, so... You know, but still, that's what happens when you go in and you're just like, I'm book shopping today. Because, yeah, yes, we are. We end up with books that we had no idea about, but we just have to have. And you know what? That makes me happy. So I feel like it's okay. All right, you guys. Well, that does it for my Colorado / just got back home from Colorado bookstore book shopping haul. If you have purchased any of these books or if you have read any of these books, please let me know down below. If you've read Tower at the Gates, please let me know. Tell me all your thoughts, feelings, opinions. Let me know down below, because this is like a super anticipated read. I am going to start reading this today. It is the beginning of August. Not only is it on my August TBR, but it is also now a book club read that I'm a part of, so I'm stoked. Let me know down below. Well, again, you guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. I would really appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!